because Roberto is deaf-mute, they just let him do whatever. So he's in the field, and I think he's weeding or something, but immigration came. But because he was off to himself, they gathered up the workers, but didn't see Roberto. And so he got done working and he went to look for his ride and everybody was gone because immigration had deported everybody. What do you love to work? Cutting grass, working in the... He says he likes it all. Roberto worked everywhere. And when he became legal, when he got his green card, and we went to get his Social Security card, and I told him he doesn't read, write, hear, or talk, they said he can't work. He's got to draw Social Security disability. And I said, why? Because he is a liability if anything were to happen.
Put stuff in there so the tires don't pop.
Yeah.
Oh, he says he's putting stuff in the tires so they won't pop, like if they go over a thorn or a rock or something.
Favorite thing about Tulelake is I like how small it is, and because it's so far away from big cities, it's so quiet.
It's very rural, like you can walk 5 minutes that way or 5 minutes that way. You always have a field.
It's just like a really isolated place, less than like 1,000 people.
There's a lot of buildings, but they're like mostly abandoned.
It's like small and it's old, but Tule is really beautiful. We don't have much here. We don't have Walmart. We don't have Target. We don't have fast food restaurants. We have to drive like 30 minutes just to get our necessities and whatnot.
This is northeastern California, right at the Oregon border. This was a gigantic wetland area. And in 1906, they started working on converting wetlands to farmland. And the lake that we're just sitting at the bottom of right now was a shallow lake, and it was drained from 1912 to 1920. It took 8 years to drain this lake. And then they started almost immediately converting this to farmland with the Bureau of Reclamation. You had to have about 8 or 10 different qualifications. The main ones were a veteran, and you had to have demonstrable farming background. Well, both my parents were veterans. And so my mother applied, and there were over 1,000 applications for that particular allotment. Only 86 were chosen. And they were chosen with little bits of paper put into a pickle barrel. They sort of shook up the barrel and pick out names, and it was totally luck. My mother, Eleanor, she won, and it was the most fabulous, wonderful thing at the time for young people to be part of, especially if you had farming background. And those folks who came here, so ambitious and so eager, it was an exciting time. Put yourself at the beginning where you had young families who shared the background of being World War II veterans. In the 1940s and maybe early 50s into the 50s, it was still possible to make a living as a small family farm. And then it all started to fall apart for a lot of those people. That farming is a season that is limited because the winters, you don't do much farming around here. And so the farmers had to figure out what to do and how to take advantage of that and how to bring in money. And the kids were a good way. They can help you be the laborer.
My dad, he used to be here for many years before I came. He used to come in bracero thing by contract and make him sign a sheet where he's supposed to come and do the work and go back to Mexico.
When I was a little kid, I didn't have any toys to play. We were pretty poor. We hardly had enough food to eat. So now that I had a tractor or a machine, driving, I feel like I'm playing. I try to go astray. I try to, do a nice job. For me, it's like be playing with toys right now.
Farming is America's biggest industry. While most major American industries have made great advances in productivity, agriculture has outpaced them all. However, some crops must still be harvested by hand. Here is stoop labor in the literal meaning of the term, but the term is also applied to many of the toughest and least desirable farm jobs. This is the only area in which the American farm labor supply falls short and is supplemented by Mexican citizens. But the term most commonly used is braceros. In Spanish, this means a man who works with his arms and hands.
Before the bracero program actually started in 1942, there was already a lot of farm workers that were Mexican, but a lot of them were actually fired because it was cheaper to hire braceros than to hire your locals who were already here working. Prior to the bracero program, there was 140 agricultural strikes in California alone. People wonder if these strikes were actually the reason why the bracero program was maybe introduced. People are getting rowdy or they're getting disruptive and things aren't going the way they want, so why not introduce a bracero program where we bring people from Mexico in here to work here and not have to fight for these type of things and just give them cheaper pay, get them working, and get them out.
The stoop labor situation being what it is, I don't see how the local farmers can get along without braceros. Without this source of labor, many farmers are going to be unable to make a profit, and we sure don't want this to happen.
The bracero program looked really good on paper. It was a future of money that you could take to your family back home in Mexico. This wasn't easy labor. And if you didn't like it, then too bad for you, because someone else can come back and replace you, and you can go back home. They were not allowed to become a union, so they were not unionized. So what option did they have?
Pero mi papá vino mucho de bracero. Y mandaba su dinero para mi mamá compraba vacas, le guardaba su dinero, ahorraba su dinero. Él vino cuando estaban peleando en la guerra. Dice mi papá que venía el tren lleno de gente, puros braceros. En la noche iban las señoras y las viejitas y les decían que no fueran, no vayan, mijo, los van a matar, los llevan a la guerra. Y luego dice mi papá que al siguiente día, muchos de los vagones donde venía la gente estaban vacíos, la gente se bajaba en la noche y se iban, ya no venían para acá. Los unidos les decían, los de aquí, que no era cierto, que los iban a llevar a la guerra. Dice, ustedes nos van a ayudar a la guerra, a ganar la guerra, pero con su trabajo, porque nuestra gente anda peleando.
With the bracero program, they had to go through like a sort of inspection. And part of the inspection was, checking them out, but then also they were sprayed with DDT, which is a toxic pesticide. It's a chemical that they were sprayed with. Prior to that, they were actually sprayed with kerosene. And the easiest way, instead of doing an actual exam one by one, was just to spray them. Spray them all and get it over with.
I was 17 years, but I came to work because I need the money. My dad, he paid a coyote for me to cross the border. It takes like 3 days, day and night, walking on the mountains, walking and walking, and starving, not drinking water, nothing. And then we got to this point where this coyote guy know where it was like a field of cucumbers. And I remember being like a cannibal. Like I used to, that day I was eating like I didn't have enough food. They're good, small roots, so I still saving all this. After many years of work on the fields and potato places, I used to be a foreman, a mechanic, hitcher driver, truck driver. I never thought that I'd be farming, my own and selling all over the United States. I think it was like year 2001 when I started working for David. In year 2015, he decided to retire, and he offered the horseradish business to me. I go, no, I cannot do that. I'm poor. I don't have money to start this business. And they say, you can do this, no problem. You do everything already. He says, there is an office in Eureka. You can get a loan up to $300,000, and that gets you going. I says, okay, let me pray over, and I'm sorry. I said, let me talk to my wife and my kids. And if they help me, we go for it. And, so we pray and ask God if that was for a good thing for my family. Go ahead, give us a hand. Now I treat people the way I wish I be treated before, when I was a worker. It's good for your health if you eat horseradish. It's just a little bit hot. Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it, Tulelake horseradish is hot.
Yeah.
Look at this man's eyes.
Good stuff. Look at this. Brother Dave, I knew you could do it.
And a lot of those kids and the grandkids now own these farms. And so all the kids grew up doing all of that and working together and going to 4-H and being part of these groups. And then as they grew older, they learned that there wasn't any future here for a lot of them, and they left. And the whole process over decades was losing the kids, and consolidating the farms into bigger family corporations.
Yo vine aquí a trabajar el 72 y me vine de México como todos venimos buscando mejor vida, una vida mejor. Creo que fuimos de los primeros que venimos a trabajar a esta área en Tulelake de mexicanos. Cuando yo vine no había mucho mexicano. Creo que mucha gente se vino para acá porque aquí no, pues es la verdad, aquí no había emigración, nada. Y muchos se venían de California porque allá los molestaba mucho la migra, los deportaba para México y aquí no había nada.
La mera verdad nunca me ha gustado mucho el campo. Y eso que yo crecí trabajando en el campo, pero nunca me gustó.
Sí, esta tiene menos aire que esta. Ok, pero están bien, pueden pasar. Este es el berrendo, es mi oficina y mi segunda casa. Bienvenida. I smoke a lot, ok. So, ya llevo 20 años corriendo. ¿Cuántas cosas no han pasado? Muchas. Se siente chido ser papá, menos cuando empiezan a chillar en la mañana los niños. Ya, ahí no quiero ser papá. Yo sí quería tener hijos. Yo tanteaba que con 2 estaba bien.
Oh, she's so sweet to all of them.
Hold on, I need to ready up. I'm just lipstick, banana, just in case.
All we do, meanwhile we're like playing, we're like, pretend this, pretend that, because we don't even plan it. We add more stuff to the game.
And I have this stuff, I have my dad, because I love him.
Where are you going today?
I'm going to Las Vegas and the fair, and I'll get my thing right out.
You have Your passport?
Yeah.
Wait, I think I know one that we can do.
Ready?
All my friends are Mexican, like 90% of the people, that I've spent my whole life around that have shaped me into being the human that I am today. It's a direct reflection of growing up in Tulelake. Like, I can't remember a time of my life where I haven't had strong, beautiful Mexican people in my life. My father passed away when I was 7 in an agriculture-related accident. As a kid, when you lose a parent and you have such a traumatic situation that happens at such a young age, you search for people who can understand you.
Trabajé con el papá de Emil, fue el mejor patrón que tuve. Trabajé como 22, 23 años en 72 hasta 94 que se mató en un accidente. Me ayudó en todo lo que yo necesitaba todo el tiempo. Él me miraba, él decía que yo era su hermano. Yo no sé si fue el último que hablé con él porque yo andaba trabajando con otros 2 muchachos. Al subir para llegar al empaque, estaba el forklift tape over y mi patrón Tommy estaba abajo del forklift, muerto. Se le cayó encima el forklift. Y luego el patrón Tom Sr. quería que con un handyman lo levantaran, pero no podíamos, el forklift estaba muy heavy. Luego decía que quería con palas como para hacer dig out su hijo. Y él nomás se arrimaba ahí y dice, oh, my son, y le ponía su mano encima, arriba. Yo nomás, I can handle a little bit, y luego me fui, yo no podía estar mirando a mi amigo ahí.
Finding community after something like that, you think would be naturally in a space that looked like you and felt like you. But when everybody you're around your whole time has both parents all the time, that's emotionally exhausting. At that stage of my life, I had a lot of Mexican friends who lived in single-parent homes. And there was comfort in that. There was not feeling different. For me, it was my mission to be able to learn Spanish and learn it in a way where I could come back and tell the people who really helped me without even knowing they were helping me, and be able to express that in a way that they could fully understand and fully feel.
Cuando yo me muera, quiero que me hagan mi altar con mucha cerveza y cigarro. Lo más que se pueda. Y cuando me muera, si me pueden echar ahí en el cajón unas para llevar allá con Satanás para pistear juntos. Lo voy a invitar a ver si me deja salir un rato al carro.
¿Ves, Catrín? Nuestro mejor Catrín es Enrique. ¿Dónde estás, Enrique? Ganador, Enrique. Muchas gracias a todos por participar. Thank you everyone who participated.
Demographics have changed. Back when I was in school, it was like 50-50. It's so different. Even like talking to my kids, they're like, oh, I want to sing this song in Spanish. And it's so awesome because we weren't allowed to do that. We weren't allowed to play our Spanish music because it was too rowdy or we were too loud. I remember being in 5th grade and going to recess and kids telling me things because I was too brown, or at some point we had teachers telling my sister, don't try so hard in school because you're gonna work in so-and-so's potato sellers, and those type of things. So those things, like, kids believe it.
everyone. I'm Tulelake.
So our age has a lot of projects that we do with the kids, but the main one that they focus on is their animal project. So our kids pick up their animals in late spring and they feed them, they watch them grow, they work them. And so by fair time, they go off and it's almost like their very first breakup. It's the only club in Tulelake now. It's our 4-H club, and it's all Mexican kids.
That's right.
Peppa! Like Peppa the pig! Come here, buddy. Don't scare him, don't scare him.
We're looking for more dirt to match on.
And what do they represent?
They represent the commodities grown in our area.
So we have a
Potato,
potato,
sugar beet, grain, a horseradish, a bale of hay, and that's it.
And that's it, except
an onion.
at the end.
This is our medium-sized horseradish that we grow in our valley.
I love it. Can you come around and let us have a good shot of it, kids? Oh, boy.
I remember that when we came here, we were really scared to even show our faces out in the world, just because, immigration laws and everything. So I remember it was like, go to school, really hold back, put your head down, do your work, and that's how it was. I didn't speak English at all, not even a word. I remember I used to be in trouble all the time because I would speak Spanish.
I was a sophomore. My sister was in UCLA in college at the time, and there was a big protest happening. So she's like, you guys have to come. It's like the May Day protest. It's going to start building up to that. So we went to visit her. My mom took us to this protest, and it was so awesome because people see protests as riots, and it's really not like that. It's such a love. You feel so loved with your communities. And I loved it. There was concerts on the side and people dancing and laughing and loving. So we come here, coming back all powerful, because we were part of this big movement. And that's the May Day protest, the Day Without a Mexican. So the kids tell me, Mara, should we just stage a walkout? And I'm like, are you sure? Let's all wear a white t-shirt then. I had no idea, but probably because I went to that, they assumed I knew. The second period bell rang, and they're like, when do you want to go, Myra? So I was like, let's just go now. I'm like, whatever, let's just do it. We all got up from our classrooms, walked all the way down the street with our Mexican flag, our U.S. flag, and signs, but it was about us here. We're here to stay, and we're not here for anything bad. But it was so cool because the kids were there. The schools felt kind of, at the time, I think they felt like something bad's gonna happen, but it was really about us being who we are.
Somos inmigrantes, pero también hacemos América mejor. Al final de cuentas, todos somos inmigrantes en este país libre. That's the shampoo. Coconut shampoo from River Livestock. Now we're gonna add a little bit of water. I respect this country, I respect this flag, because I couldn't have these opportunities I'm doing now if I was in Mexico. I couldn't experience being walking pigs, being having a heifer, being able to show at the fairs, being able to sell my pigs, I just love animals. When I'm mad or I just want to cry, you just come in here and I just cry with them. Okay, let's go walk. You don't want to walk? Okay, let's walk. The experience, you go into the ring and then there's a judge judging your pig and telling you what to improve, and all that. I just feel like, there is no a better feeling than that. When I'm walking my pig, my head goes in blank, Diego.
Some of you, like I said, I've shown before, so when you go into the ring, they'll pull you out of these pins, and there'll be a judge, and they'll be dressed all fancy. Sometimes they look kind of scary, and they'll be watching you when you're showing your pig. And so if I was the judge, Naomi and Ketsa are gonna create a ham sandwich. So the judge is the bread, the pig is the ham, and then you're the other piece of bread, because you don't want to get in the way of the judge. If you're not making the ham sandwich, then the judge is looking at you and not your pig, and you want them to look at your pig. So we have 64 days till fair.
There he comes, the king.
Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have.
Now I understand why the women get like,
maybe I didn't love you.
I have to speak with the American people just about one thing. They call us Mexicans or Hispanics, and they call themselves Americans. And I just told them, no, we all Americans, because we are on the whole continent. We are the same continent. And that's all this disagreement that I have with some of the white people. But after that, I never feel that they treat me bad because of my race, or they treat me bad because I don't speak their language. Never. Never.
Nice. Oh, call them home? You trim him?
So I told him, I said, just do little jobs here and there, and he will only help people with their yard work if they are senior citizens.
Yeah, sí.
¿Se está acordando? ¿Se está acordando?
Sí, me estoy recordando de cuando nací sin papá. No lo conocí. Mi mamá tenía 4 meses, 4 de estarme esperando cuando mataron a mi papá. Entonces yo ya me crié nomás con mi mamá y mis hermanos. Y la vida fue muy triste y muy dura porque no teníamos que comer y mi mamá fue padre y madre para nosotros. Mis hermanos se iban al campo a buscar qué comer o a pepenar, que se llama ir a vamos a pepenar para pasar el día. Y crecí en la hambre, crecí en el sufrimiento. Me casé, fue peor. Quedé sola, mi marido me dejó, se vino para acá, para este país. Él se vino de bracero y a mí me dejó abandonada. Se me murió mi niño, se me murió y me quedaron 11, que son los que tengo ahorita. Se me murió de infección en el estomaguito, en su pancita. Se me murió aquí en mis brazos.
¿Por hambre?
Pues también por falta de comida, por falta de alimentos. Pero no llores, Mayra. Yo ahorita estoy muy contenta, muy a gusto. Aunque tengo muchos años encima, pero estoy a gusto, estoy feliz. Y mi vida ha sido muy diferente a la de México. Mucho aquí, sí, mucho.
Most of the parents here work in the fields. Like, it's not another, like, it's their only option, basically. They do it every summer, every single day of the year, nonstop. I see parents doing a lot for their kids and their kids not really doing enough for them. My parents, they both want me and my siblings to be like their generation, to like become somebody, hopefully go to college. And that's what I'm just trying to do, and it just puts like a lot of stress on me, but then I also like know that I have to do it for my parents, just thinking about their past life and what they've been through. It's just like a motivation to me.
See here, I gave you baptism today. So today, you must remember me wherever you are. Thank you.
But the hunger for true love, Jesus doesn't take anything away. He gives everything. And when he enters your life, he makes
Who's more Mexican? That's a thing. Like, a lot of the Mexican community is like, no, you're not Mexican because you weren't born in Mexico. You're not part of us. And then you can't say you're American because, yeah, you were born here, but you're not white. Mexicans are more prone, from my experience, to invite white people to their parties rather than the other way around.
Cultura mexicana es muchísimas cosas, muchísimas, como esta quinceañera, de los tamales, pozole, birria. Oh, sí, la familia convivir.
It's not just about parties and stuff. Like, it's good because the culture, we're all close, and it's not like one family and one family are apart. If both of y'all are Mexican, the culture comes in and they're all close. That's what Mexican culture is to me.
So we like dance every single party. Like dancing is probably like our best thing to do at our parties. We're not shy or anything. Like we just dance. Like we don't really care about what people say. We just dance. Like if we dance, we dance. Like.
I talk a lot to the kids. I see them as our future, and we need to have strong kids. I've talked to them about like the ni de aquí ni de allá. We don't belong, right? We're not from here or there. But I try to flip it so where I'm like, look at how beautiful it is that you're from both places. People don't have that. You get to adjust to this culture and adjust to the other one. That's such an amazing thing and how lucky you are to understand it and live it instead of making it like, oh, well, you don't belong. If we teach our kids the right way, then they're gonna do well.
You guys all live here?
Yeah.
Okay. What is American culture then?
Oh, that's hard.
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like it's very different from us.
Yeah.
Like you don't see other cultures having these big parties like this, like dancing with a live band.
Especially here where we live, we've lived here our whole lives, so we don't really get much American culture. It's all Hispanics and Mexicans, so it's very different for us.
American culture to me is like just like people, like freedom, like privacy, like everybody just wants to like feel free, like in having their own space. Like
it's not as welcoming. Everyone likes to be separated from each other, if that makes sense.
Tulelake, yes, was founded on homesteaders, but it was also founded on its ag workers. Our families are here. We've been here. We work for you. Because of you, you have farms and things, and I feel forgotten. I really wish that we could just get more like united, love each other, and not be so angry, not fight about who owns what or who belongs, who doesn't. That's my biggest thing, is really accepting, being more accepting.
When you have a community that's resistant to change, then the community becomes resistant to you. And that's the very thing that continues to kill rural communities throughout the United States. Historically, in all of these communities that had booms, but they couldn't retain people because people didn't want to live in an area where they didn't feel like they belonged. So if we want this region to have a voice and uplift, people have to want to come back. So we do like a showman competition where kids actually show off their skill with their animal. And then they do the market where they actually show off the animal. And then finally on Sunday, they take it to auction.
217 and 175. 217 and 175.
After that, these poor little kiddos have to go say bye to their animals.
So you don't seem sad to sell your pig?
No, a little bit. But that's only if you have like a relationship with your pig. Or like a friendship or anything like that.
And do you?
A little bit.
I think they feel like someone actually cares about what there is to come for me. And I do. I want these kids to, if they want to do something, know that they can do it.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. I never expected I was gonna get showman, like first place in showman in my class. I feel very proud of myself.
The heart of most cultures is family, friends, community, religion. The way that culture is expressed, it's very different, but there's more similar about us. And I think there's even more similar attributes about rural families and rural communities than there are about any other community that exists, like in an agricultural community. You could literally walk down this street and be like, hey, do you like Wranglers? How do you feel about John Deere? What about Ariats? You like those? You'd get a yes from everybody. Doesn't matter, white, brown, you could not do that in LA.
It's crazy, like 4 years ago, I was just a freshman or an 8th grader, and now how you told me that next year I would be graduating. But yeah, I'm planning to go to college and work. And I think I can keep showing pigs till I'm 21. So if I have the opportunity, I will keep doing this.
My daddy went to the fair and told me about the competition, so I signed up. Cute little pig. I'm gonna get them. Go!
Over here, Rowan!
He was great and all, but I got him good. Maybe I could trade it for money this time. And then they gave me this. The